Evening, humans. What I've got today is the newest member of my saw family, the Stihl MS362C-M. This is a 59cc saw, weighs 12.35 pounds, power head only, puts out 4.69 horsepower, which gives us a power weight ratio of 0.379 horsepower per pound, which is pretty damn high, one of the highest I've seen. I've been known in the past to not particularly like these saws, but there have been some changes recently. They did a facelift on this model similar to what they did to the 261, and it kind of intrigued me. And if those numbers seem a little different than what you've known, it's because the facelift is lighter, 0.65 pounds, and also slightly less more power at 4.69 versus the 4.7 that the other one was. There have also been some other changes, which I'll get into here in a moment. I was really looking for a larger climbing saw. I was kind of wanting the 261, and I'd be lying if I said not having done a YouTube video with this saw did not influence my decision at all. It's only 2 pounds heavier than the facelifted 261 though, and gives you an additional 0.69 horsepower, and that's plenty. Running a 20-inch bar on this, I really don't plan on running anything bigger. Probably just stick with the 20 for the whole time. This is going to be kind of my general use ground saw and climbing saw when I need something bigger than a 16-inch. So let's take a closer look at this. Alright, did pick this up at Arch Lawnmower Shop here in Florissant, Missouri. Great guys up there. Outside of the machine, do have a lasso start handle, felling sights on the side cover and top cover, pretty standard. For snowy use and really cold weather, it does have an optional cover that can be installed onto the rewind cover. You have the standard now Stihl fuel and oil caps. Like some of the other Pro models, they do have the quarter turn screws to remove the top cover. Standard M-tronic control lever, all the way up is kill, and you do have to press it up because it is spring loaded. All the way down is the start setting, and then your normal run. The easiest way to tell the new facelift models is by this black plastic strip right here on the side plate. Actually, it's not part of the side cover, I don't believe, but I'll take that off here in a second. But yeah, you get captive nuts on this model now, and you do have holes to add different bar spikes on the side cover. I did order a set. They didn't have them in stock, but I'll be getting them here in a few days. So that's an easy way to distinguish. You'll also note that the cooling fins are oriented different. They have a new design on the cylinder, just like the 261. These are features on both of them. The orientation of the cooling fins is rotated 45 degrees. You have a chip deflector down here. And they have a kit with 2 different sets of dogs. And with those dogs, actually, they have a chain catcher that is just like the 661 chain catcher, which actually that roller bar that sits in between the dogs. So that'll be coming with the dogs. So looking forward to that. Standard side chain tensioner right here. Do have adjustable oiler. Adjustment's located right here on the bottom. AVE system, very similar to the other Proline saws. Stock, it's running a 3/8 063 chain, and I just left it there. This is a 20 on here. It'll take a 16-225 though. So you can put 5-inch bigger or 4-inch smaller, whatever you're looking for. Of course, with all new saws, emissions are going to be met out of the factory, so definitely want to open this up a little later once I get it nice and broken in. It hasn't had fuel or oil yet. You also have a decompression valve right here at the top, but being 59cc, you shouldn't really need it. It's not that big of a saw. So let's go ahead and start taking some of these covers off and getting a deeper look. Taking off the side cover. Magnesium, of course, magnesium frame, as all the Pro saws are. Wear pads, pretty basic, nothing spectacular or groundbreaking. Alright, so rim style sprockets and clutch, as you would expect. This is kind of new. The 261 also has that. I'm guessing like deflect chips differently, I'm not sure. But that's what I'm guessing that is, maybe to keep the chain free. As the chips come up, they get flung up here and then pushed out. I mean, I really don't know. Something. Metal wear plate there, pretty standard. Oiler output, chain tensioner, standard 2-post chain brake. There she is. So pretty obvious there. You can see the different orientation on the cooling fins. Paper element, automotive type. You'll see this on pretty much all the professional saws. So of course you have your M-tronic carburetor right there. Huh. That's kind of funny. I guess they didn't bother to update the cases, so you still have holes to adjust the carburetor, even though you can't adjust the carburetor. So, I guess that's just laziness. You do have a cold weather shutter here to preheat the carb if needed. Just flip it over, stick it back in. That way it gets warm air from the cylinder into the carburetor to keep it from freezing. AV system is as robust as you would expect out of the Pro line, very similar to all their other saws, and pretty nice and smooth running. All right, this intrigued me more than anything. It's not something I've seen on the saws before. Well, at least not Stihl saws. Let's take this rewind cover off and look at the inside here. This right here. The combination of this inner plastic shroud and this deflector type thingy right here, I've only seen on the T540, and that's a pre-separation. So as the engine's running, flywheel's turning, cranking air, and the air is pushed around, heavier debris and particles go to the outside and get discharged, while the cleaner air goes into this little tunnel-ish type thingy right here and funneled into the air filter. So I think this is the only Stihl saw with it. I did a bit of research and didn't see any others, but the diagram on the Stihl website actually showed this on a 441, which we all know hasn't been available for quite some time. So I'm really curious. It works really well on the T540. I don't see why it wouldn't work really well on this thing. Interested to break this in and see how clean the air filter stays with that new system on there. This guy's first gas and oil. Go for the first start. No time on it. I don't want to rev it all the way up. Not broken at all. Do some breaking in here probably the next 2 days, and I'll do some cutting with it. Got her all sexified, the new paint job. Bar spikes haven't come in yet, so I took the ones off my 661 for the time being. Look pretty damn nice on there. But she's already warmed up, ready to make her first cut. Let's do some breaking in. Got 5 tanks through her. Was running semi-chisel for the break-in. I just took that off, put on a full chisel, brand new. Let's see how she runs. I'm not putting anything bigger than a 20 on her. I'm gonna go ahead and put an 8-tooth on, see how she runs then. .362 8-tooth drive sprocket. All right, let's see how she does now. She doesn't really like it too much. So there you have it, the 362. Definitely a saw that needs to be broken properly. Don't just grab it and go out in the field and start using it. That whole first and a little bit into the second tank, it was running pretty horribly. I was kind of worried at first. But third tank, she started to find her stride. Fifth tank, she was running pretty sweet. But everything I've read from others online says that you really got to get about 10 to 15 tanks through these before they're truly broken in. And you can see that she didn't really like the 8-tooth sprocket at all. Maybe I'll give that another shot when we're around tank 15 if I feel that it's broken in that much more and providing that much more power. For the time being, I'm definitely sticking with the 7-tooth, even though it's only a 20-inch bar. Overall, very happy with it. It has one major flaw though, and I can't wrap my head around this. I don't understand it at all, but the AV system is horrible. About 2/3 of the way through each tank, my hands were numb. Even much older saws I've run didn't have anywhere near the vibration that this saw has. I would definitely say if you're someone who's going to be running constantly, like for firewood or something like that, don't get this because your hands will just be so numb you won't be able to work. After each tank, I had to sit there and kind of get the blood flowing again. I don't know if it's an issue with this particular saw. My buddy up at Arts, he's a Stihl Gold Rush certified mechanic, so maybe I'll have him take a look at it. But the vibration, it was just bad. And it's not drastically different from any other machine. They just did the facelift to this machine, similar to the 261. And the 261, I mean, it is just a smooth running saw. It's like butter in your hands, just. But this is on the opposite end of the spectrum. It vibrates like mad. Other than that, I'm really happy with it. Don't do like I did and put 661 spikes on here. I actually had to modify them a little bit to get them on here. Really, I just did it for the video. But the spike on the side cover actually sticks out a little further, so when you're pivoting, it's going to pin on a different radius and cause your cut to go sideways like I had done a few times. Really, it's just vanity. But she's sexy and she knows it, so she can get away with it. I have not checked the air filter yet. I got about 5.5 tanks through it, so let's see if that pre-separation system works as well as they're claiming. I know the Husqvarna works amazing. That T540, it stays clean. Yeah, it's some dust. That's it. Nothing big built up in there at all. It's all just real fine particles in there. No clogging. So, yeah, I'd say it works. Of course, you can see we do have some dust build up in the cart box, but as to be expected, it's a chainsaw. pretty happy with it, and I imagine I'll be a bit happier once she's truly broken in. Maybe I'll put that 8 tooth back on. But for the time being, I'm sticking with the 7, absolutely. As always, have a good one, humans.